we'll segue into talking about the domestic environment. I mean, clearly we had an election last year. There's been significant changes. A lot of prior legislation has been repealed at pace. We've had issues around the RMA and obviously also a significant degree of kind of controlled unrest at Waitangi this year. I think if we can just start with that. So Geoffrey, is the treaty status as a founding document safe, or does this current debate around a referendum on the treaty's principles suggest it might be under threat?
I think it's never a bad thing to debate matters, but I think you've got to remember that there's some fundamental issues about the treaty. The treaty came about because we were part of the British Empire. The British Empire was the most powerful thing going, and they did not want to take over New Zealand unless they got the agreement of the indigenous population. And what they did was to negotiate the treaty. And the treaty, of course, led to a whole lot of European settlers coming who wanted land and wanted a lot of it. And that led to the New Zealand Wars. There was a fundamental misunderstanding between Maori and Pākehā as to what the wording of the treaty was. And in fact, the Maori didn't think they were giving away what the British thought they were giving away. Now, for the New Zealand Wars were a big problem for Maori and pretty discreditable to the government in many ways. And the Waitangi Tribunal was set up. That Waitangi Tribunal has done a lot of settlements or approved a lot of settlements. A lot more have been negotiated. There's been compensation for the injustices done. And I think that's done a great deal of good for New Zealand and for race relations in New Zealand. So the thing you've got to remember about the treaty, there are two things that are fundamental. One is it is a treaty, and all the international law suggests that Maori had the capacity to enter into a treaty because they were in charge here before the Europeans came. Now, the second thing about it is it's binding as a matter of international law, so the idea you're going to get rid of it is pretty futile. The second thing is that it's probably binding as a contract as well, and that theory's been around for quite a lot of years, developed by Professor Keith in a law review article many years ago. So, you know, the treaty is the treaty. The best way of handling that matter is to go into a proper government arrangement where there is enough money devoted to finding out whether it is possible by using modern methods of communication with the citizens, such as citizens' assemblies, several of them, and several organised in a different way, to see if you can arrive at a modern understanding of what it should mean now. That's a vast enterprise, but in New Zealand we always avoid big things because they're too hard, and so we never resolve them.
That's quite sobering. I mean, Helen, what do you think the consequences will be if the treaty's status is diminished?